This video review is brought to you by BigBadToyStore.com. BigBadToyStore.com, your #1 source for toys.
What's going on, guys? Today we are looking at TFC Toys, TFC-009 Gear of War 3, otherwise known as Not 6 Gun. For those of you that don't know, 6 Gun is a character or a toy robot that is made of the 6 different guns that original G1 Metroplex carried. He was a really interesting character, and I really liked him when I was a kid. So when I saw this go up for pre-order, I immediately snatched it up over at BigBadToyStore.com. What I have decided to call this guy, though, is Rage Gun, or 6 Rage. I like Rage Gun a little bit better, and that is quite simply because of his arms, which we're going to take a look at right now. I mean, look at this guy. He just looks so beefy. By Rage, I obviously mean Roid Rage. And excuse me if my voice sounds a little hoarse. I have no idea. It's allergy season here. He is definitely an interesting character. Pretty darn posable, but overly top-heavy. And I'll show you some of his flaws here in a minute, but his overall look is one that I really enjoy. I don't know why. I just love the way this guy looks. He looks so stupidly awesome. Or awesomely stupid. One or the other. Either way, I like it a lot. Even though his body is gigantic, his head is actually a pretty normal size for a robot. It has really nice light piping coming in at the back of the head in powder blue. Overall, it is a very nice light piped figure. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any really good sources of light to actually show you guys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one of my lights, studio lights, and just put it behind him, and so you can get an idea of what's going on with him. So that's kind of working. There we go, that works better. What's even cool, as you just saw, is this little spot right above his head on his crest there pipes light in as well. Very, very cool. This figure is highly posable, but there is a little bit of an issue with that posability. Because he's so posable, that actually causes issues. I'll show you here just in a second. Head is on a very limited ball joint, so you really don't have much posability there. Arms are on a swivel here inside the shoulder, then a swivel here on the outside, and that's part of the transformation. Swivel above the elbow and below the elbow, and then a 90-degree bend here at the elbow. Wrists do move back and forth, and the hands can be unplugged, and each individual finger is posable. The only issue I have with the hands, though, is this one thumb is incredibly loose, but you can pose the thumb and each individual finger, so that is very, very beneficial. Torso articulation is present, then hip articulation is ratchets in the hinges that are much too loose for my taste, swivels that are way too loose, and then knees that are somewhat loose, but they bend in different directions, which can be problematic because the figure is so top-heavy. And then his feet, or toes, are articulated, and then his feet do have some minor articulation here. So you can get some decent poses out of him, but you've got to be very, very careful because he's going to fall over real easy. Oh, and did I mention the ratchets aren't strong enough to hold him up sometimes? And for a size comparison, here is Rage Gun with, well, a Deluxe Class Generations figure. As you can see, he's probably somewhere between an old Voyager class figure, old from, like, Dark of the Moon, and a current Leader class figure. The figure's transformation, quote-unquote, is more of a parts former than anything else. He doesn't exactly transform as he completely disassembles into components and then reassembles into weapons. So we're going to go ahead and begin that right now. Starting off with the arms, we're going to just pull the arms straight off the body, and he falls over. And then going to the back, we're going to remove the entirety of the backpack. We'll put that off to the side and put the arms off to the side. Then the legs, and this is probably the coolest part of the transformation. The legs are actually clipped together via these clips that you unclip them, and then the leg component will just slide right out. I like that a lot. It's a very clean solution to a rather annoying conundrum. So we'll turn the legs such that the peg portions are pointing in. Push the head into the body, and fold up the arm part, or the shoulder connectors, to form thrusters. Then this whole backpack section disassembles into missiles, handles, and a big cannon. And this big cannon will actually fit and peg into the inside of the figure's inner legs. And there we have the first gun, which we will first flip that section around and flip out the peg. Now this is the first gun, which is modeled after Metroplex's main cannon, or main gun cannon. So like that. Very similar, a little different, but they both still look like giant flying cannons of destruction. Very similar to the way the Zentradi Macross ships were. But actually, that really does remind me of Macross. So now that we're done with the first part, we're going to go ahead and get to the arms. First, we're going to unpeg these silver bits off the back of the forearms. Put the arms off to the side there. And then these bits will peg into the bottoms of these giant missiles. And these will become Metroplex's more iconic cannons. And then they clip into place and are held like that. Let's do the same over here. Take that in, clip them in, and there we go. And again, these sections, or these little peg things, flip out, and then you can attach the handles to them so Metroplex can wield them. So we've got two giant cannons. Next, for the arms, and this is where things get a little weird, we're actually going to first unpeg these barrels from the outer forearms. And then I like to just fold the thumbs up and collapse the hands. So like that. And then come to the elbow. Now the elbows are really interesting and kind of annoying at the same time. There's a clip here that unclips, and then this holder bit will fall off, and then you've got these two sections that fold over bits of the shoulders, like that. And then we'll take these, fold them up, put the clips back on, like so. And then the hands, well, we do whatever we want with the hands later. And we just do the same thing over here. Unclip them. And sometimes easier said than done. I like to wiggle it until you could fold it away, and then unpeg that section, and fold them up, and clip them back into place, and put them off to the side. Then we take the guns and the cannon barrels and attach them. And I swear that looks like a mass driver from Mass Effect, but we end up with two really big cannons. Now, according to the directions, all of these components can combine into a flying gunship of sorts. And to start, we will go ahead and fold down the shoulder components, take the big red cannons and flip out their connector bits, and then they will peg into the sides here, like this. Now that we've got those bits connected, we will attach the bigger, or the black guns, to the red ones, which is actually easier said than done because on some of these components, this little twist part is incredibly loose. On other components, it's incredibly tight. And it becomes a real pain in the butt. And finally, you attach the fists onto the bottom of the mode. And then once the fists are on the bottom, you take your little handles here, and they will peg onto these bits. So we just line them up and peg them in, like that. The assembled gunship is, well, it's pretty darn big and looks pretty darn fierce, and can flip you off as it's flying away. I think it's actually pretty cool, if not a little bit strange, as certain things can still pose and move, and there's still clearance issues. It's just strange. It's definitely weird. But it is very nifty looking, and I do appreciate the fact that they took the hands and put them on the bottom of said giant gunship. Putting the weapons on Metroplex really does add a whole lot of firepower to this already powerful unit. As you can see, we took these shoulder cannons and we put them down on his knees, and then here's one missile cannon and one up on attached to his back. The black cannons are on his shoulders, just like the G1 figure, and then he's holding his other cannon. And then you can add yet another cannon onto his shoulders somewhere. It's really nice. I actually really like the fact that you have so many gun options now, and you can use them in all the different modes. This isn't just the only way to do it. By far the best upgrade, though, has to do with Scamper, because, I mean, look at this. He's got rage arms now. This little Legends class figure now has arms that could destroy Titans. Overall, the Gear of War 003 from TFC is actually pretty cool. If you don't own a Metroplex figure, though, this set isn't for you. Also, if you are a hater of parts formers sets, you're not going to like this either. But I think it's worth giving a look at, especially if you need something to add to your Metroplex figure. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review. As always, I am Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time.